Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about simplifying and solving exponents. This is the first lesson in Unit 11. We're going to explore a lot about some exponents in this unit. We're going to start out today with some basic exponent expressions. This lesson is brought to you, as always, by Ken Alonzo. We hope that you are understanding your math. If you have questions, please ask. Our goals for today are to be able to simplify an exponential expression as well as to solve an exponential equation. Notice those two words, they are different. An expression is simply an expression with an exponent. An equation contains an equal sign. So we will be both simplifying as well as solving to find an answer. When we talk about simplifying an exponential expression, we use our properties of exponents. So remember that when we are multiplying, we add our exponents. So 2 to the x power times 2 to the 3x power becomes 2 to the 4x power. X plus 3x is 4x. Our second rule tells us that when we're dividing, we subtract the exponents. So 5 to the 15y divided by 5 to the 9y becomes 5 to the 6y. 15y minus 9y is 6y. When we have a power to a power, we are multiplying. So I'm going to multiply the square root of 2 times the square root of 3, and I'm going to get 7 to the square root of 6 power. Same with the second one here. I'm going to multiply 4x times 5x, and I'm going to get 11 to the 20x squared power. It seems a little ridiculous, but just remember that when we have a power to a power, we multiply the exponent. One of the other things we need to remember is that these power rules only work if the bases are the same. In this case, the bases are not the same. The base of the first exponent is 2. The base of the second exponent is 8. So the only way we can simplify this is if our bases are the same. Now, I know that 8 is 2 to the third power. And we'll talk a little bit more about how I know that, but that is something that I know to be true. So now I have two powers that have the same base. They both have a base of 2, and I can simplify. The first thing I want to do is multiply these exponents. 3 times 3x is 9x. That's my first power rule. Remember, when I have a power to a power, I multiply the exponents. Now I'm multiplying and my bases are the same, so I'm going to add the exponents, and I'm going to get 14x as my power. So 2 to the 14x is my expression here. Notice these have all been expressions because there's no equal sign. We're not solving anything. We are just simplifying. Here's a little helpful chart for you that gives some of the exponent values that we use very frequently, and you will come to be very familiar with this. So we use the powers of 2, often up to 8. We use the powers of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 here. I've given you the ones that we use most frequently. It's helpful to know that 3 to the 4th is 81. It's good to know that 7 to the 3rd is 343. Now, nobody says that you have to memorize these, so this chart is definitely something that you may want to write down somewhere so that you can access it when you are trying to solve equations or simplify expressions with exponent values. We will be referring to this chart throughout the lesson, so it might be a good idea to pause the video right now and to write these numbers down. So we are going to use those exponential values that we just looked at to help us solve some exponential equations. Notice these are equations because they have equal signs. The first thing we want to do is we want to rewrite our numbers so that they have the same base. The base of my exponent expression here is 3. So I want to write 81 as a power of 3. Now, looking back at that chart that we just saw, I can see that 3 to the 4th power is 81. So I'm going to replace the 81 with 3 to the 4th. Once the bases are the same, they cancel out and we can solve the exponents. In this case, there's not much to solve. It's just x equals 4 because 3 to the 4th power is equal to 81. Now, 12 to the x equals 144. This is not one that I have on the chart, but hopefully you know that 12 squared is equal to 144. Therefore, once our bases cancel, we know that x equals 2. So we just solved some exponential equations. We're going to make them a little more complicated and see what we can do, okay? So 5 to the x equals 125. This is where I want to go back to that chart and I want to look at my 5's column and I want to see where 125 is. When I look for that, I see that it is 5 to the third. And so I can replace 125 with 5 to the third, allowing me to cancel my bases and solve. X equals 3 is my answer. I'm going to do the same thing with 2 to the x equals 64. I'm going to go back to my 2 column and I'm going to look for 64. And I'm going to see that that is 2 to the 6th power. Therefore, once my bases cancel, I know that x is equal to 6. Are you starting to get the hang of this? I hope you're kind of seeing how that exponential values chart comes into play and how it helps you to solve some exponential equations. Now, when we have fractions, that means that we're dealing with a negative exponent. So my base here is 2. So I'm going to look on my exponential values chart in the 2 column, and I'm going to find the 8. And I'm going to see that 8 is equal to 2 to the third power. Now here's where the negative exponent comes in, because this is hard to solve with a fraction. So instead of 1 over 2 to the third, we're going to make this 2 to the negative third. Remember we talked about a negative exponent, put something in the denominator? I can reverse that, take it out of the denominator by making the exponent negative. Now I can cancel my bases, and I know that x is equal to negative 3. Which, if you put this into your calculator, 2 to the negative third power is 1/8. You can go ahead and check that. You'll probably get a decimal, 0.125. Remember that you have that button that says PRB on it. And above it, you have something that changes from fractions to decimals and back and forth. So you can use your second PRB and it will change this into a fraction for you. Let's try another one. My base here is 6. So I'm going to go to that 6 column and I'm going to look for 216, which I know is 6 to the third. But because I want to get rid of the fraction, I'm going to rewrite this as 6 to the negative third. My bases will cancel, and I know that x is equal to negative 3. Is it starting to click for you? Setting up your equations, getting the bases to be the same, and then solving for your variable. I'm hoping that after this video, you are able to simplify an exponential expression, as well as to solve an exponential equation. I also hope that you know the difference between those two words. Remember that an equation always has an equal sign, and an expression you are just simplifying. As always, this has been brought to you by Con Alonso. We are out of this world over math, and we hope that you are understanding exponential expressions and equations. Have a good day.